This really is the worst fucking
Well, sit up.
couch.
Sit up.
I can't. Sit up. This thing is awful.
Do you want to trade places?
No, but if you don't
You can
believe
sit on the desk.
You should come. If you don't, I feel like you don't believe me. I'm not doing this on purpose. This is so
But here's
sunken
what you
and
don't understand.
terrible.
We were concerned about the issue before the show. But what are you going to do? You can't just go out and get a couch in 5 minutes.
No, but you could, get a phone book or something, or cut a slice and stick a phone book in there. I mean, it's fine. I'm actually kind of in.
Can you sit on Chuck Kloster's
I will not insult that band. No. This is fine. No, this is good. This is actually. I'm kind of.
Do you want to sit on your book?
Sure. No.
There you go.
Let's just leave it be. It's not going to help. It's not going to help. Let's just go with it. This is actually pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
Are you comfortable though? I mean, I know you're low, but you might still be comfortable.
I guess I'm getting comfortable. My first reaction was that
It was terrible. You were like, "Get me out of here."
Not get me out of here, but just I'm going to be uncomfortable, which is fine. Look, I have a crippled dog, and I have to. She has no back legs.
What does that have to do with being comfortable on the couch?
Well, I was making my point before you interrupted me.
Yeah.
Her back legs are gone, or not. They're not physically gone, but she's lost the use of them, and it's very sad. So
Okay.
I just ordered one of those dog wheelchairs, which is coming next week. Don't have pity on her. She's happy. If she weren't, I would not be doing any of this. My point being is that it's gotten so bad. It actually is very sad. She's very sweet. I have to use a rear harness and make a makeshift thing where I have 2 leashes that I have to walk her with, and it's a terrible way to start an interview show, just bumming everyone out. But I have to physically help her, holding up her rear.
How old is she?
She's 11 and a half.
Okay.
She's happy, though. When she gets to the park, she's psyched. But
What does she do
it's
with
more
the- what does she
difficult
do
for
at the
me
park
because it's
without
just
legs?
it's physically hard to walk her. But once she gets momentum, her back leg just sort of works. So
Okay. My go back to my other question. What does that have to do with the couch?
is that I shouldn't be complaining
Oh, okay.
about being a little uncomfortable in a sunken. It's like, so what? That's me being an asshole.
But some people like being back in a couch. It's relaxing.
This
to-
is
to
actually,
sink into it.
I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
My first reaction was the fuck, and now my second reaction was, oh yeah.
Yeah. We had a better couch, but we thought you'd like this more.
I think you made the right call.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good.
So you do this TV show. I wanted to. What do you drink? That's not beer. It's the tea, right?
This is beer and tea.
Beer and tea.
I got a cold beer to put a hot tea bag in it. No, it's Earl Grey tea. I feel like I am maybe getting a cold, but I took a I was discussing.
Are you a drinker?
I'm not a big drinker, but I just don't feel like I should be drinking tonight.
Sure.
I had a really, really sweet nap today, though. So I'm feeling much better.
What is your day like? I mean, do you get to nap? A lot of people don't during the week.
Right now, well, currently I just pitched a show called Sweet Naps. It's for Lifetime, and it's just it's just people napping, and it's mostly me. So that's the show. It's all in the edit. It comes together. Right now, thankfully, the Delocated, the 3rd season. So that was the 3rd season. You were correct. There's not a 4th season.
Absolutely correct.
We're waiting to find out about a 4th season. So I finished the edit in mid-March, and then the show went off the air. The 3rd season concluded after the first week of April, and I was pretty wiped out. So I've been taking a little time off, much needed time, and so this is sort of my last week of self-imposed doing nothing. So I'm trying to enjoy it.
And then
But I also needed the nap. I kind of been feeling like shit, a little tired, maybe a cold. So I took advantage of the time to get some rest.
How long was the nap?
Probably
I've got
went
that
down-
question in here, by the way.
Let's see. I probably went down around, let's say, 9:45, 10
Yeah.
a.m.
Well, when did you wake up if you took a nap at 9:45?
1:30. Fucking awesome. Oh, so good. I needed it. I needed it so bad.
I read a lot of interviews with you before this thing. I did some pre-work.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you kept saying over and over again was that you liked, or you would refer to your humor as dumb. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
It's really my own way of saying that my comedy is fantastic. But I don't want to sound like an arrogant asshole, so I'll just say dumb. It really is. It is to me. A lot of it is just dumb. It does mean I do think it's funny, and a lot of the stuff we do in the show is very funny, I think. but that's how I just feel about it. It just seems incredibly dumb, like that. Face Off, that whole thing was so dumb and ridiculous, but it's just code for funny.
But there's a million people who could come up with something that's just dumb and it's not funny. Is there a fine line between dumb that's funny and dumb that's just dumb? And do you find yourself asking, okay, I just thought of this bit, is it funny and dumb, or is it just no?
If it's not funny, then I guess we'll either hopefully not do it or we'll do it and it didn't work. But I don't really think of it in those terms. If it's funny, it's usually just dumb. Or sometimes it's funny, and we'll call it funny. I sometimes have to remind people at the show, especially people like the wardrobe and the graphics people that make these incredibly funny things and decisions and graphics that are hilarious and creative and inventive, that whenever I say dumb, it's a compliment.
So you use the
But
term.
people
with
usually, it's a term of, it's a compliment. It's a term of endearment.
What would you say if you thought it was just dumb? What would you say to them?
I'd probably say, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure.
It's kind of a passive aggressive.
I'll try to be nice about it, and they understand, but it's okay because you just realize not everything's going to work, and you have to be thick-skinned about it, and if you're not, then you probably shouldn't do comedy stuff, and because not everything's going to work.
The word you said, be nice about it, and I talked to a few people who know you, and they all said the same thing. They said two things. They said, you're the nicest guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. And then they said they couldn't believe, and I know you've heard this before, they couldn't believe that you got yourself a starring vehicle, and then you disguised your face, disguised your voice, and then when you finally played another character, Mishka, you gave yourself the worst haircut known to man. Why?
Just because it's fun, and I mean, I certainly I didn't intentionally think of a character where I'd be disguised and not recognized in public. It was just a byproduct of the idea and the character. And then for Mishka, and if you're not familiar with it, Mishka, I played a second character on the third season, and it just seemed like such a ridiculously obnoxious thing to do, to play two characters. It just seems arrogant to me. Like, I'm so talented, I'll play more than one character instead of hiring a whole separate other actor. But it really came from a joke from the second season, which was just that I'm not in really hardly any of the Russian scenes. And so I'd invariably end up hanging out with, I'm just behind camera in my, creator EP role, just watching all the scenes and all that. And between takes would fuck around a lot with Eugene Merman, who plays Steve Service, who's the bloody-faced guy in that clip. They play brothers in the show from the Russian mob. And so I would just start fucking around as this Mishka character, this little kiss-ass toady, and we decided to try it. In the third season, it just seemed like a really dumb thing to do, to have me play another character because I could. But I felt like if I were going to do that, I would want the audience to think it was the most obnoxious thing possible with this really obnoxious, awful haircut and not a wig. I wanted to really commit to it.
So you did that. Obviously you did.
Oh, yeah, it was a crazy, crazy haircut. Pretty much buzzed all my hair except from it's all grown back now, but I would say from the middle of my head, profile forward, everything else buzzed. And then we just, my hair is very curly, and if there's no product in it, it's very froey, but they would take a flat iron, fry it. I have a couple great photos where my hair was like this. It looks like there's steam coming off it. And then and then they'd comb it forward it was very just like a wet, sticky bangs kind of a look on the front. And from the front, it looked it still looked awful, but somewhat normal. And then the side and the back was amazing. And even after the show wrapped, I kept the hair and just slowly let it grow back. And when it was curly-ish, I felt like, oh, this is kind of a cool cut. And then I'd look to the side, and it's like, oh, no, it's not. It looks fucking terrible. But it was a great haircut to have.
You got a son who's probably, 5 or 6. What does he say when you come home with that hair? Is he scared?
No, he loves it. He was actually home when we were doing the initial haircut. The woman that did it, this woman, Barbara Roman, came to my house and did the initial buzz and sort of like the test cut, and he was really enjoying it. And he kind of got into it and started doing a fake little, a Russian accent and being, Mishkito. He was very cute about
Really?
it. He loved it. He was into it. It was fun.
So he's at the stage now where he can choose. He's not just saying things that are funny unintentionally. He's actually trying to be funny.
I guess so. I think he's hilarious. But the one thing that was weird about the haircut is my wife and I just adopted a little girl, and it's crazy. Like, we literally picked her up the day after we wrapped shooting. Like, it came out of nowhere. The second to last day of shooting is when we heard about her, and my wife went to the hospital, and it all kind of checked out. We picked her up 2 days later.
Wow.
And
I mean,
so
you were in
had
the
that
process of trying to adopt a
We
baby.
had been in the process for
Somebody
most of
didn't
last
just call
year.
you. And
Correct.
Yeah.
But when we were, we were thinking about it, and someone just called us and said,
Yeah.
"Are you thinking about adoption?" We were like, "Yeah." A fucking weird phone call.
I don't know the process.
And they said, "Just be here Friday." And we're like, "Okay." And we showed up in this field,
Because I hear it's usually...
and there was a baby in like 10 blankets. The people had already left. We took her home. She's cute. No, but I did have this crazy haircut when we got to the hospital, and my wife said that I had a hat on, and when I took the hat off, she said the nurses were all like, "Oh," like they all had a really, really great look on their face, like, "Oh." And if she weren't, and my wife was there, my son, my mom happened to be in town, so they knew it was all okay. But if I had just shown up, I'm sure we would not have gotten that baby.
Well, that's the thing.
No question in my
When you
mind.
adopt, you do have to go to interviews and show that you're responsible.
It's incredibly extensive. Yeah, you have to do fingerprints. You have to go to court to do that. Background checks. You have an in-home visit by a social worker. It's very extensive to then get approved, and then you start the process of trying to get the baby.
Yeah.
And then for us, it just happened like we just got a call. We really, really got very lucky. Didn't have to do ads. We had to make a profile where you're putting photos of yourself online. I fucking hated that.
What did
It
you
made me
say?
uncomfortable. You're just trying to sell yourself. And we just tried to be pretty straightforward and honest without being too selly. But we had this person helping us, and she kept changing our text. And it was all written from my wife's perspective because she said, you want to connect with the mom. So you should have the mom connect with the mom. I'm like, yeah, well, I can still have my voice in there. And I was fine to not. But she wrote, when it was my paragraph to describe me, the way she wrote it was, fatherhood is the #1 priority in Jon's life. And it's like, that just sounds so fucking fake to me. And it's not that it's not, but it just sounds phony. And she just kept telling us, you got to sell yourselves. And I'm like, we are not writing this phony bullshit. We're just going to be real, and if people respond to it, great, and if they don't, oh well. But it just made me crazy, but we got very lucky that never even went online.
Why?
Thankfully.
Oh, because you got it so quickly.
Because we got her so quickly. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how about some fucking applause for what my wife and I did?
Adopted a baby and did it in record time.
Fucking went to a field.
Your character, the main character, is obviously an asshole.
I just realized I'm sitting on my umbrella.
See, well, that's why. The couch is beautiful.
Man.
Your character's an asshole.
Yeah.
One of the bigger assholes
Yeah.
on television. And yet, you play him in a way that... How do you play an asshole so it's not just a one-note thing? It seems to me that you don't pass judgment while you play the character. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I guess you can't be self-aware of it. Like, you don't want to be, you just have to do it. You just have to be that asshole. It's a little weird because, I mean, it's extremely fun because you're getting to be a total fucking asshole and say obnoxious, fun things. But I guess I always think of it in terms of, like, when you're watching Curb Your Enthusiasm and he's just such an unlikable guy and you always wonder why he and his wife are together, and sure enough, they get divorced. And he got divorced in real life. And I always go with, you just either have to go with it and assume there's likable things about the character, even if you're not seeing them on camera, or not. Or so if you're watching the show, you just go with it or not. That's how I feel about it.
See, my thing with Curb Your, and maybe you'll disagree with this, was at one point, he could be a jerk, but you would always kind of think he was actually in the right. You could defend what he was doing, and then as it's gone on, he kind of does things that are completely off the charts, insane. But for a while, he was like, "Yeah, that's the way I'd want to act."
So it's justified if he's right.
Yeah.
Well, he's an asshole, but he's right.
Yeah.
I guess.
You don't want to. He's like he
I came
describes
around
his-
real quick on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, if he's right.
Do you ever say something or think something that's just a completely dickhead thought, or even say it, and then feel bad about it, but say, I'm going to use that for my character?
Do you mean like in real life?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hope not.
Do you ever have bad thoughts?
Yeah, plenty of them,
And
all
then
the
do you-
time.
Right. And then do you say,
I'm having bad thoughts right now, not about anything in particular, but just they're there. I can't think if there's anything where I've thought like something awful and thought, oh, I'm going to use that for Delocated, unless it's just been as a comedy thing. I don't think there's been not that I can recall like a genuine awful thing. I mean, the character is is awful. I hope not.
yeah. Well, I don't know.
One of our editors said to me once, "It's a good thing you're married, because if you weren't, no one would want to date you."
I'd
It's
have to
a-
imagine people would
because
understand that
my
it's not you.
Yeah, I would hope people would understand that's fake. And it's pretend. And if not, then I don't want to date that person that doesn't want to date me, because they can't separate.
You got your start, I think I'm right about this, you got your comedy start in Chicago in the improv world, which is really about kind of letting go of your ego. Is that what attracted you to that type of comedy, to long form improv?
It wasn't so much the letting go of your ego part. I just thought it was really fun, and I just liked doing comedy. And I had seen, my mom got me tickets to a Second City touring company show when I was in high school that came to suburban Detroit. And I just thought it was amazing, and knew that people from SNL had come from Second City and heard about it. And it was relatively close and seemed like a pretty good move to make. And I still wasn't sure, but I did end up going to Chicago. Had this really kind of amazing experience too. I was, halfway through my senior year of college, and I took the train there and stayed with a friend. And did an audition for their touring company, and didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a lot of improv experience, but after I was basically going from the train back to, I was going to school in Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. So taking the train back to Ann Arbor, and I'm just, basically just untucking my shirt was the extent of me dressing up for the audition. And this woman who had been, it was dark, you really couldn't see who was in the room, but you could get a sense there was probably 10 people or so watching. And one of the women comes out, and she's like, "Hi, can I talk to you in my office?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And in my head, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to drop out of school, and this is gonna be amazing," and getting really excited and trying to be cool about it. And so she takes me in her office, and she was very nice and just encouraging and enthusiastic. Said, "Finish school, but here's my card. Call me when you graduate." And it was this woman named Joyce Sloan. That was me pretending to look at the card.
Sure. That's improv, right?
Which that's an improv move right there.
Yeah.
It's called object work.
Yeah.
It's called object work. But it was a really extremely life-changing moment for me, because that's when I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Chicago. And so I went there and just pursued it, and got lucky enough to get hired like a year and a half later in the touring company, and then got on the main stage about a year or two, 2 years after that.
And you were in a show, Pinata Full of Bees, which in Chicago is like now legendary. I don't know, I missed it, but it is legendary for kind of turning around Second City or
we saved the theater.
Yep.
There had been not very good people that had come up through at that point. Yeah, I mean, it was called that. If people want to say it, I'm very flattered. We did something a little different. It's mostly, sketches and, lights up, lights down between each sketch. And we just kept the lights on the whole time. We did more of a long form show, which is what I'd started learning at a place called Improv Olympic. And I just learned about that place when I moved there, and just got a paper and just tried to see whatever was out there that I could do, and started taking classes at various places. And so a lot of the people in the show had done long form, not everybody, and we just wanted to try something different. And the producers were pretty supportive, and not everyone was into it. You could tell some people didn't like the fact that we were doing it, but thankfully it did go well and was received well. And it was a pretty fun show. I thought it was pretty good.
And then you go to New York, and you write for a number of shows. And before you go, I want you to tell the story of the sketches Slipnuts, and how that, I don't know if people are familiar with it, but if you could explain it and just tell how it came about.
Slipnuts was a thing I did. I used to write on Conan, and the Slipnuts was a sketch we did, and we ended up doing it maybe 4 or 5 times, I think. And it was, I can't remember how we thought of it, but it was basically, there's a band, you guys know the band Slipknot? They're I think pretty amazing, just bizarro, crazy costumes, and I don't know what you'd call it, if it's like death metal or some form of metal, or it's pretty intense. There's like 10 of them, and we came up with some fake group called the Slipnuts. And it was this joke that the show had booked Slipknot and the Slipknots on the same show. And it was a conflict, and the Slipknots were really upset about it. And it was me and these two other writers, performers, Brian Stack and Andy Blitz. And we dressed in, like khakis and these, powder blue Oxford shirts and red sweater vests. And it was, very fun and peppy, the exact opposite of Slipknot. And we were just this band that would literally throw peanuts on the ground and pretend to slip on them. And sang a song that was just literally, where the Slipknots slipping on nuts, clowning around and slipping on nuts. Really dumb and really stupid.
And then you actually ended up opening for Slipknot.
Yeah, we had done it a couple times. Well, we did it on the show when Slipknot was on the show. And they were really, really cool about it, and they loved it, and they thought it was funny. And we pitched them an idea, I think, a year or so later, whenever they were in town playing out at the Meadowlands, at the Continental Arena, huge arena with like 5 other bands, some like metal show. And we pitched them an idea, like, what if we opened for you guys? And they were like, great. So we went to, we did this whole thing where we're at the Continental Arena, and we're going to go out there, and it was the same thing where it wasn't treated like a mistake, but I can't remember if we were the first band or if there was like a couple of the opening bands and then us. I think that was it, because the way it was the PA announcer just said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Slipknots." So I'm sure people really did not hear that and thought Slipknot. And basically also, before we went out there, and we did a whole pre-tape thing of like backstage preparing for the show that we aired on Conan before the footage of us on stage, but all like the roadies and stage managers were all saying, "You're going to have shit thrown at you. You're going to have batteries and coins. You're probably going to get hurt." And I was really fucking terrified. I'm like, I'm going to fucking get killed for this stupid fucking bit of slipping on nuts. So the whole time, the whole time we're out there, I'm just like, I just tried to keep moving. Just like slipping around and just so no one could get a good target. I'm trying to be a hard target. Remember that Chicago show, Hard Target?
Absolutely.
You got to YouTube it. Anyway, so yeah, I was trying to be a hard target, and I did a good job. Didn't get hit, but I was petrified the whole time. And just everyone's like, "Boo, fuck you." This is, just so angry. Some people genuinely angry. Some people must have seen it on Conan and were pretty into it. But the footage, I think it's online. You can probably find it on YouTube, and it's just this huge stage. And we did it and just got out of there. And we should have done an encore, which we didn't do, which is too bad. But it was fun.
Well,
Yeah.
what's the future for Delocated? 4th season, has it been picked up? Or?
It has not been picked up. I hope it's going to get picked up. I really have I think so, but I have no idea. I know they really like it, so hopefully we're going to find out soon, and we'll see.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Jon Glaser, everyone.
Thank you.
Can I help you out?
Yeah.